update on all of them.
Yeah.
Let's do an update on all of them. And you tell me which is the better option. Is it better to penalize someone for getting in trouble, or is it better to let it go and then create maybe a convicted murderer?
Yeah.
There was a murderer on the team.
Yeah.
He was the roommate of Tim Tebow,
thought
who everybody loves.
I thought Feinbaum in there said
What
he's
is
like
going on?
Feinbaum.
Does that one haunt you?
So-
We're talking about him being haunted by a guy that beat the shit out of a girl, and he kicked off
What
the
about the
team.
murderer?
Not the murderer.
How about the guy that was literally killing people for the last 10
the
years?
murderer won him a national. The murderer was one of the best. The murderer was like the best tight end in the country. No, I thought.
Yeah, won him a national championship.
And me watching that documentary, I'm like screaming at my TV. I'm like, it's really like why? Like if I had an OJ doc and it was about his time at USC.
Like the whole
how
thing,
great
if
he
you
was.
Instead of being propaganda for Urban Meyer, what it should have been is how this Florida team, we knew it was wild down there. We knew with all the arrests, but the team was freaking awesome, and they won 2 national championships in the span of what 3 to 4 seasons.
Yeah.
And then after that, it all came crashing down on Urban Meyer. Like the whole thing fell apart because of the culture that he had built there.
No, his heart started hurting.
It all came.
Not
like,
broached. The fake heart
The fake heart attack.
That's what it all should be about, is the rise and fall of this thing. That's what it all should be about, that with all of these characters mixed in. Feinbaum, I thought, said it best. He said, look, Feinbaum was like, look, it's basically like, when you recruit top level talent, like, dude, there's going to be some stuff and issues off the field you have to deal with. You just do. But most coaches do have a set standard that, okay, you cannot cross this line. I know it doesn't matter how good you are. You cannot cross this line. It's like, Urban Meyer didn't have that line.
Well, and here's the deal.
He didn't have that line.
Generally, all of them. It happened with the Tennessee team. It's happening with Georgia now.
It's happening with Georgia
right now.
right
Any of the
now.
awesome teams typically have their large share of problems, right? It comes along with it.
How many things do you think the Tuscaloosa Police Department has swept under the rug?
I mean, there's
so
no
much
question. But what I'm saying is, like, to be propped up as, and for that allowed to be like, I feel terrible that he kicked a kid off the team for hitting a woman. And then once he did that, that the guy went down the wrong path.
Yeah.
Right? But this idea of, and I'll blame myself forever and I'll never kick anybody off of anything ever again, is like, okay, well, like all these other guys, you had this was one of the most morally bankrupt teams that we have ever seen.
Yes.
The jail gators.
It was an outrage how many guys were, and no telling how many were covered up. But you had DUIs, you had domestics, you had a guy that used a credit card for a dead woman like 70 times. You had murder.
But the one you highlight,
murder.
But the one you highlight in the doc is the guy that tried to sell weed, try to get some money for.
Bro,
Right.
okay, the Brandon James.
Yeah, he was like,
But
damn,
listen,
man,
Brandon
I thought I was
James
gonna get kicked off the team because I was
dude.
trying to sell some dope.
They're like, Brandon James tried
my
to buy
God.
0.8 grams of marijuana from an undercover police officer. I'm like, why is an undercover police officer trying to sell you 0.8, not even a gram for $20?
But that's the story y'all talk about in the doc.
Right.
But you got all his.
They gave them the feeling that, oh, yeah, we are talking about the problem.
No.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It's terrible. It is
Terrible.
the only good
I
thing.
hated it.
I will say-
I was so mad. I was like, if I wanted game recaps, I'll just watch the SEC Network.
There
I'm
was-
like, oh, and then Florida lost to Auburn.
Yeah.
And then they had to run suicides for a year.
There is only one thing, one awesome thing I took from it that got me like, I was like, yeah, I'm ready.
What?
A couple of those when they show in, they go into, LSU, #1 in the country. LSU. Bro, it got me jacked for college football.
Oh, yeah.
You
I did
see
too,
the
yeah.
atmospheres in those stadiums, it's like, oh, yeah, college
Yeah,
football, let's go.
It was. I will say the one thing about his kids. They didn't bring up his wife and kids, all that stuff that
At
happened.
all.
They didn't bring up none of that.
They didn't him attempting to stick his finger in that girl's butt.
No, they didn't bring up none of that. Talk about that.
Wasn't on there.
Sin, talk about that.
I understand omitting that.
Do you?
But seriously,
you
like the
Trying to
fact,
get a smelly finger.
I mean, the fact that the guy was allowed to sit there and this, like, for it to be, I understand that that's how Urban Meyer and Tim Tebow want that to be remembered. Now it's just remembered as like anybody that like actually was around and covering that and watching that unfold. It's downright insulting.
Yeah.
One of the most famous members of that team literally became a convicted murderer.
Murdered like plural people, like
no mention.
several
Is
people.
he even talked about it in episode 4?
No, bro.
They don't even bring
They
it up.
don't mention him.
They don't.
They
It's
mention him.
just that
He's
one
mentioned
little
twice.
fight
He's mentioned as a part of the recruiting class, and he's mentioned as the bar fight.
and the bar fight.
Only time he's
and
Which, by the way,
disappeared.
makes him look good.
Yeah.
Because Tim Tebow's sitting there. I
it's
wish,
my fault.
I wish I would have done
They're
more.
saying horrible
They were
things
saying
to him.
racist things to him.
And I love Joe Dooley. Joe Dooley, the longtime writer who's covered the Gators for
Pat.
Pat Dooley. Well, yeah, covers them for the Gainesville paper or whatever. And he's like, and then we go to try to get the police report on the Aaron Hernandez bar fight thing,
This is
and
gone.
it does not exist. It
No.
is gone.
Also, another thing that
well, and Tim Tebow's like, it's somebody got really hurt.
But there's no police report.
and there's also no details.
No.
Nothing.
Someone,
Like, did he kill him too?
Gone.
probably did.
He probably killed him.
Somebody they basically said Tim had a crazy
Bro, like,
roommate.
you-
That's all they mentioned.
Like, you want to talk about power in a city? Like, we always thought like Calipari had power here, but like we found out about the incidents. We can
Dude.
find out. Like, do
you know how bad that had to be? Honestly. Do you have any idea how bad that had to be for Tim Tebow to say had somebody got really hurt?
But that
Yeah.
means that they were probably, he probably killed him.
He probably killed the guy.
somebody's got a broken neck? They're paralyzed.
And Tim Tebow just feels so bad about it. That he's like, I wish I would have done more.
I pray
was
for him,
the
I
other-
pray for
what
him
was
every
the-
day.
Why are you so guilt-ridden over the fact because
I
you
murdered
watched the
people.
guy get maimed in front of you?
Probably.
And maybe that should have been the tip-off when you had to yank him off of a guy because he was about to kill someone.
What was the other one? Was it Brandon James who got his chain snatched?
He got his chain snatched in the club.
and he's like, "I'm from the hood.
Yeah.
You take something of mine, I'm gonna take it back."
Oh, God.
Yeah, bro. Also,
Yeah.
another thing they didn't mention was the Jeremy Fowler versus Urban Meyer thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
I would love
Nothing.
to interview Jeremy Fowler, bro.
nothing.
No,
Like,
they
bring
need
that
to
up.
do
Like,
none
this.
of
I
It's
want
involved.
all this juice. All the we saw the trailer. We were like, oh, this is gonna be good.
Oh, because he curses in the trailer.
Yeah.
He's like, "This is effing unbelievable," or something. And you're like, "Oh wow, they're gonna do a deep dive on this."
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you watch like things about the '86 Mets, and they're like, "Yeah," and then we went back to the back and we banged this chick and snorted coke off of,
Showtime Lakers too. The Showtime Lakers
yeah,
were like
that's what we
that.
want.
And you're like, "Oh my god!"
Magic
Yeah.
Johnson's like, I would get done with the games in the 80s and I would just
Yeah.
go to the back in the hot tub and there's like
Yeah.
6 women in there and I have sex
Yeah.
with all
All we
of them.
hear
They're like Mickey Mantle went between innings and had sex with a girl in the bullpen. Like what?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what we want.
Like-
all we hear is like Brandon Spike saying, "Yeah, I showed Tim Tebow a naked girl," and he was like, "Eh." I'm like, bro, what the hell's going on?
There's that part.
Yeah, there's-
And he's like, "Oh, this guy really does walk the walk."
It was like, come on, bro. Like, by the way, the Tim Tebow thing, I don't know if I noticed this is something I brought up in notes in the doc. He didn't start really leaning into like the God thing, like putting the eye paint, the John 3:16 until after the Heisman, until it came like a marketing thing. I noticed that.
Oh well, I mean, it was also when he was starting.
Yeah,
It
but
also
still,
was
like,
when he
didn't start, like,
played.
he did the eye paint stuff already, but like he didn't start really like doing the.
I don't know when he did it.
Honestly, no, I noticed it after it was after the blow up. I know it was like, yeah, okay,
Smart.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Tebow, do
if you-
your thing,
smart.
bro.
If
I just
you-
think Tim Tebow's just.